So last year, I dealt with a lot of anxiety and I learned a lot from it about what worked, what's not working. So I thought it's time to share this in a podcast. So, anxiety is one of the things that people deal with after a concussion, and it can be so hard to manage. I dealt with it as well, and after a while, I noticed I was always fighting against it, which makes anxiety worse. And the first time I noticed I had a positive change in my anxiety was after learning about the DARE response. And this response is about facing anxiety instead of feeding your anxious thoughts, which makes it worse, of course. So every time you feel anxiety coming up, you start to apply the 4 steps of DARE. So let me explain what the 4 steps are. The D stands for diffuse, the A for allow, the R for run towards, the E for engage. So I will explain what this means. So the first step from there is diffuse. When we experience anxiety, we often have these what if thoughts. For example, what if I get a panic attack? Or what if this feeling doesn't stop? And these thoughts feed the anxiety and make it more intense. And instead of asking yourself what ifs, ask yourself so what? For example, so what if I get a panic attack in public? Someone will help me. These questions create a positive reaction to your anxiety and you stop feeding the thoughts. And then when you do this, you move to the next step, allow. So the next of the dare one, the E for allow. Accept and allow the anxiety to happen. Become comfortable with the anxiety. And with this different approach, the anxiety begins to fall away naturally. So you can say to yourself in this step, I accept and allow this anxious feeling. Then you move on to the third step, the R from run towards. To break the illusion that anxiety is a threat, you run towards it. Fear and anxiety are almost identical sensations and responses. The difference is the perception. So when you start to feel anxious, say to yourself, I'm excited by this feeling over and over again. And just pretend that you are. I know it's very hard, but pretend that you're excited by this feeling. And then the last step is engage. Anxiety will always look for a way to reel you back in, right? So it's really important to find a task you can engage with in order to fully calm down. So, for example, go for a walk, prepare some food, or do some laundry. The goal of these 4 steps is not to end anxiety, but to end the fear of anxiety. But I know this is a very summarized explanation, but to better understand it, I can really recommend the book Dare. This is also available in audio format on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, type in Dare, Dare, then you will find this book. And I can really advise to read the reviews because I was a bit I was doubting. Oh, this is another thing that should work. But I read the reviews and I was really excited to try it. So I can really recommend this book. And there is also a free app. And it's not totally free, but there's a lot of free content on this app. So you can just search for Dare in the App Store and look for that flying purple person you see as the icon. This is really helpful as well. And in this app, there is an audio file that explains how the Dare response works. He is better in explaining than I am, so I can really recommend going there. Yeah, this is just really helped me. And when I feel anxious, I open the app and I click on SOS, and there is an audio file about I have a panic attack or please help calm me down. And he is really guiding you through the steps, so you don't have to do this all by yourself. But if this is all new to you, I can really recommend to go to the app and then first go to the Dare response. This is below the anxiety tab. And then you hear how he explains the Dare response. And last but not least, there was another thing that really helped me with anxiety. This is the interval training. And I am not talking about normal interval training, but about one that is specifically designed for people with a concussion. This also includes some specific breathing exercises, for example. And for everyone who was thinking, oh, what is interval training? Well, interval training are short bursts of intense exercise alternated by recovery periods. And these recovery periods are the specific breathing exercise. But let me explain why this interval training is so helpful when it comes to anxiety. Because someone asked me this question and I thought, okay, this needs a better explanation. So I sent her an email and I explained how it works. And I thought, okay, this is a good thing to explain here on the podcast as well. So this is how it works. The sympathetic nervous system, this is also called the fight-flight system. This is a quickly responding symptom that mobilizes the body for action by releasing the stress hormone cortisol and increasing heart rates. So this is what you experience when you feel the anxiety. But on the other hand, we have this parasympathetic nervous system. So this is also called the rest and digest system. And this is dampen responses such as slowing down heart rate, returning to a normal level after a stressful period. And in a healthy person, so someone who didn't sustain a concussion, these two symptoms, the fight flight and the rest and digest system, they balance each other out throughout the day. So, for example, the sympathetic system dominates while you're running, but when it's time to calm down, you need a parasympathetic system. However, after a concussion, the sympathetic nervous system, this flight response, is often stuck in a state of overreacting. So you might experience these anxious feelings, right? And to encourage the parasympathetic system, this rest system, to become more active, we will do the intervals and the breathing exercises. So it really helps to retrain the brain so that eventually these systems, they respond to the needs of the moment rather than being stuck and out of balance. And as I just said, I am not talking about normal interval training, but about a specific one, including breathing exercises. And this method is developed by Dr. Mark Allen. He is a neuroscientist and co-owner of Cognitive Ethics, a concussion clinic in Utah, where I've been in 2019. And this changed a lot for me. And if you find this interesting and want to hear more about this interval training or about another second proven method that he developed as well, I created a free masterclass for everyone. So you can find the link in the description of this podcast and register for free when you click on this link. So I hope to see you in this masterclass. I hope this podcast helps you. If you are trying the DARE response, good luck. I hope it helps you, and let me know about your experiences. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, and if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, would you maybe do one small thing in return? Leave a short review or thumbs up on YouTube. The more reviews this podcast will get, the easier it is for other people to find this podcast and to feel less alone and lost in their journey. Oh, and one last thing. I would love it if you share a helpful episode on Instagram in a post or in a story and tag the concussion community in it. Or you can always send me a direct message. I love to see who is listening. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.